Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Will B, the Blacksmith Podcast, back with another one. And today we're going to jump right into it. We are talking about this video about what net worth puts you in the upper, middle, and lower class. So we're going to jump right into it.
What net worth makes you upper class? It's not as much as you think. The US Census gives us quintiles to dive into net worth. Starting with the lowest 20%, the median net worth here is $6,030, and the
Oh, what? Median net worth is $6,000?
average income is $27,000 per year. The next 20% is called the lower middle class. The median
Okay, hold on. Let's back it up. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know the lowest 20% of earners earn $27,000 a year? That's less than $15 an hour. As a matter of fact, hold on, let me see. I've got my calculator here somewhere. 27,000 divided by 52 weeks divided by 40 hours. That's $12.98, less than $13 an hour. And median net worth, you guys know that your net worth is just your assets minus your liabilities, right? I tell no lies. Look, cash, savings, investments, real estate, personal property, retirement accounts, 401ks, stock accounts. So let's just make it simple. Easy math. You have $10,000 worth of assets. You have $5,000 in debt. Your net worth is $5,000. That's how you calculate that, right? But that's wild. Let's high school grads entering the workforce, minimum wage jobs. Yeah, no kidding. All right, let's go through the rest of it. I'll probably stop it again here in a sec.
The next 20% is called the lower middle class. The median net worth to get into this bucket is $43,760, and the income is $48,500 per year. One of the characters.
Okay, let me stop right there. Let me tell you something. Some people go around saying that they're middle class because they earn 60 grand a year. But look, he said he pulled this from, I can't remember. It's right in the beginning of the video, but census data, I think it was. Um, I'll go back in the beginning and see what he said, but we're only 20 seconds in. So if we have to see it again, not that big of a deal. But listen, just because you earn 60,000 a year does not make you middle class. Look at what it says for the lower middle class, your net worth has to be. And you don't get to make the rules. This is my point in saying this. People will say I'm middle class because of what they earn, but their net worth isn't this much. Your net worth might be negative. So if you earn 60 grand a year and your net worth is negative, you're not lower middle class. Net worth is a piece of this too. And people always overlook that because they like titles. They like saying, oh, I'm this or I'm that. Well, you ain't that. You ain't, I won't say you ain't Jack, but I got bars. I almost used some of them. All right, let's see. 48,500 divided by 52 weeks, almost $1,000, right? Yep. Divided by 40 hours. So this is $23 an hour right here. New graduates, and they mean college graduates here, and blue collar work. So if you got into a trade or something like that, or if you've been in a blue collar job for a little bit, you're starting to move up. Okay, let's continue. I want to see where he said he got it from. Hold on one second.
Makes you upper class. It's not as much as you think. The US Census gives us quintiles
US
to dive
Census.
into net worth.
Yeah,
Starting
that's
with the
what I
lowest
thought.
20%, the median net worth here is $6,030, and the average income is $27,000 per year. The next 20% is called the lower middle class. The median net worth to get into this bucket is $43,760, and the income is $48,500 per year. One of the characteristics of the middle class is that they start to have enough money that they can spend on discretionary items like the family vacation, and they're not just worried about covering their necessities. The next 20% is the.
All right, let's stop right there. So that right there is what puts a lot of people in debt, because if they earn 48,000 a year, that's not a whole lot. right? And should you really be taking vacations, earning 48,500 a year? I mean, a staycation, a small 2 or 3 day getaway here and there, but should you really be taking vacations? If I average vacation price, let's just don't take my word for it. Oh, look at that. Between $1,500 and $5,000 per person for most people. So miss me with the whole, well, I took a vacation and it only cost for most people. Read it right here. I'm not like most people, I'm not talking about the extremes. I'm talking about most people because then I can talk to most people in this video, right? So, look at this. That's a lot of money. So when you make $48,500 a year, that's not net, that's gross, right? So you still have to pay taxes on that. So that's not your take home pay. Let's say your take home pay is like 38 grand, 35 grand, something like that. That's not a lot of money to be worried about vacationing. And did you see the guy's cart loaded up with like Oreos or some kind of like food that some kind of, I wouldn't call it food. I mean, it'll feed you, but he has some kind of look at all this Cheez-Its looking stuff, Oreo looking cookies, graham crackers here, cinnamon toast crunch. He's still skinny, but I think he's about to add another chin under that mask. Um anyway, the vacationing part to me is kind of ludicrous because he did say they start to have a lot more discretionary income. It's not discretionary. You should never be doing that. What you should be doing is investing that money. You should have your head down and investing. I'm saying take 1 or 2 getaways a year or something like that and let them be small. You don't need to go to the Swiss Alps. You have no business in Bangladesh or Moscow, visiting the capital. If you make 48,500 a year, you need to have your head down and not saving this money, but investing this money. At this point, you should have your head down, thinking of every discretionary dollar you have as a discretionary employee, and those employees don't need to be leaving the building. If you're your first business, what you need to look at is every dollar you have in your bank account is an employee. And if it's in checking or savings, they're just sitting around the break room drinking out of the water jug and just chatting it up, talking. They need to be put to work, because when you put your employees to work, what happens when Amazon's employees goes to work? What happens when Costco's employees goes to work? What happens when Microsoft's employees go to work? They earn money for the company. If you're your first business, if you are your own company, when your dollars go to work, your employees go to work for you, they earn more money. Just a thought.
Necessities. The next 20% is the straight up middle class. To get into this bucket, you need a median net worth of $104,700 with the average income of around $70,000 per.
That's listen, I'm going to tell you, I would dare say most people's median net worth is not 100K. It's just not. Most people are not actually middle class. If this is what the Census Bureau defines as middle class, most people who think they're middle class are not middle class. And you know what's crazy is the middle class is slowly shrinking up, right? The middle class is slowly going away. And what you actually have is you have we're starting to go back to, I think America is one of the first countries in recorded history that had a middle class. I don't want to say the first, but if not the first, then one of the first to have a middle class. In most countries around the world, believe it or not, you have the haves and the have nots, and the gap is huge. And you know, America's a great country and all, and people get online and they're always complaining about it and stuff. But let me tell you something. I've traveled the world at this point, right? I've been to Europe, I've been to Asia. I know, well, Europe is connected, but it's called Eurasia. You get what I'm saying? It's Europe and Asia. So I've been to Europe, I've been to Asia, I've been to obviously I've lived all over America too. Um, I've been to Australia, um, Bahrain. I've been all over the Middle East, and I'm going to tell you, I saw my first tin house in Subic Bay, Philippines, and I mean tin like TIN, like the thin sheet metal. Um, I knew it was in movies and stuff. I saw it in Bad Boys 2 at the end where they're rolling down the hill, and I think it was a Hummer trying to catch Johnny, whatever his name was. And yeah, I saw my first one in person back in 13, September 13. And I was like, wow, poverty is real. And you know what? I noticed in other countries where people are in the have not class, they're not 300 pounds. So talk all the stuff you want about America, folks. The have nots in other countries are not 300 pounds. I won't say a tenth of that, but they're a lot smaller, maybe a third of that, because they're not eating, because they have not to eat.
per year. The next 20% is the upper middle class, and to be considered in this bucket, you need a median net worth of $201,800, and your salary should be between 100 and 150K per year. Now, to be in the top,
Stop right there. Most people aren't even earning that. So if you just took that one on sheer earnings, I would say the last one, people might be earning this. It's still a small percentage of people earning 101, but on this one alone, the income, this is gonna X out a lot of people right here. The last two, the income X's out a lot of people because the average income isn't even this much. In fact, let's see. I love looking stuff up. Don't take my word for it. Let's say household. Well, it was coming up. This is from 2022. Let's go back. Let's do what I was doing. That's 2023 though. Uh this is last year's. Let's just use last year's. This is from what the no Wolf TV. Okay, I had a little dyslexia. I put the T before the F. Man, that'd have been a very weird one. Let's go with SoFi. I know about so. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. There we go. A .gov. Let's go with a .gov. But they're quoting old years. All right, let's go with SoFi. So they're saying for this year 66,000. I think that's a little high. I don't think that's the average income, but let's just say it is. Whatever. So $63,795. That right there X's most people out by almost double. Um, so this one's going to be hard to do. So when people are saying they're middle class, they're really not middle class. The net worths alone is the biggest factor that'll X them out because they may be even earning 125, but they may be house poor. And if they're house poor, they probably don't have a net worth of this. Now, you do need to count life insurance and stuff too, right? If it's a certain policy, I think if it's I think you count life insurance. It might be no matter what, but because the term might count too. But I think I had heard before that they only really counted the whole life insurance because it was a policy you could cash out and get a money. You could get a loan from your own policy, but whatever.
20% of all Americans, your median net worth needs to be $608,900, and your average salary is around $187,000 per year. I made a longer video on this exact topic, so if you're interested, make sure to watch that. What net worth makes you?
So we got to the end of it here. Tell me what you guys think in the comments about this video, but get what I'm saying right here, right? This is my whole point. I'll go full screen back with it again. And the guy, what's his name? Let me give credit to this guy. His name is something Humphrey Yang. Humphrey Yang. So if you want to subscribe to his video, oh, it's right here on the side. Humphrey Yang. So this is why I always say, when you are concerned about Caitlin Clark versus whatever that girl's name is, um, when you're more concerned with 100 men versus one gorilla, when you're more concerned with men versus women, understand that your net worth matters. Your net worth matters. Your net worth tells you what bracket you're actually in. And if you were more concerned with this, I bet you could move up. Perpetual entertainment is the end of a man's CMD, his creativity, his motivation, and his drive. And when you don't have those three, you're going to be in the lower bracket here. For more, subscribe. The Blacksmith. See you next time.